Hello, hello, and welcome today. Today is International Women's Day, and did you know that there are over 35 million moms in the workplace? And that's something we often don't hear about. But one of the other statistics about that is that a third of us in the workplace suffer from burnout. And I just think that we need to all pause and really think about how we are supporting our moms in the workplace. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, I am Dr. Pamela Ellis, the education doctor, and I want to welcome you to Keep Calm for Moms, where we talk about what it means to parent the next generation with grace and ease. I am CEO of Compass College Advisory, where we partner with busy moms to help their teen find a college that feels like home without overpaying. And the results is that 95% of our clients are admitted to their top choice colleges, and the average scholarship is $75,000. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do we do that? I'm going to tell you quite briefly. Well, we have a framework called Keep Calm, and the CALM stands for College and Accelerated Leadership Methodology. And there are 5 pillars of Keep Calm, which is academic, social, financial, vocational, and cultural. And each week on the show, we touch on one of those pillars. But today's show is part of our Boss Mom series. And I always get excited about this series because I talk to some amazing moms about work-life balance and their career journey. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, even with those statistics that I started out with. Now, if wherever you are checking in from, I want you to, comment replay if you're checking out the replay, or just, comment where you're calling in from. And either way, with watching this, I want to offer you an opportunity, if you have a high schooler, to get our college prep toolkit. Now, that's a toolkit that really can save on that burnout. All right. It has all of the resources you need to support your teen on their college ready journey. So I am just already fired up and ready to bring on our guests. And also, too, one of the things that I would love to hear from you as you're watching this video, if you have a parent ERG at your company, I'd like you to just type in ERG, because oftentimes we see that there are certainly women's ERGs, there are ERGs for the different other interest groups, but not as many parent ERGs. So why is that? I'm wondering. So anyway, let me bring up my special guest, Boss Mom Kristen Merker. Hey, Kristen, how are you
Hey,
today?
Pamela, I'm good. My cat has decided it's nap time.
Oh my goodness, don't even say anything because my puppy is barking in the background, but I'm going to ignore it.
Right.
So you'll see me mute. Kristen, thank you so much. So if we can start out, if you can just kind of introduce who you are as a mom, start
Yeah.
there.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. My name's Kristen, and I am a single mom to an amazing 16-year-old who's a junior in high school,
Yeah.
and we're going through the throes of college prep, as Pamela knows personally.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, it's busy over here. And after she
Yeah.
got out of toddler phase, I was like, okay, smooth sailing. And then once she hit
Yeah.
high school, it was like, wait, why am I so busy?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, how do you find ways to take care of you given all
Mm.
of the busyness and craziness that comes with having a teen getting ready for
Yeah.
college?
I mean, it's been a little easier as she's gotten older because I can set
Mhm.
boundaries more verbally, right? Like when they're
Yeah.
little, because I've been a single parent since she was like an infant. So it's like when they're
Yeah.
little, it was really hard to
Mhm.
set those boundaries because they just want you all
Yeah.
the time to like hide
Yeah.
from them.
Uh-huh.
But now it's like she
Mhm.
understands boundaries and alone time. And so like I can express that to her. So we're pretty good about, especially during COVID, like you had to communicate with your family, otherwise you were going to go crazy. We're pretty good about understanding each other's boundaries, but sometimes it's hard. Like last week, I was so overwhelmed with all the things she had to do, all the things I had to do. And my alone time was maybe 10 minutes playing a computer game on my phone before I went to bed. I don't recommend it. You're not supposed to have screen time before bed. But you know, you gotta have it where you can. And you know, some weeks are better than others, but it's a constant struggle, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, what has it been like in terms of transitioning back to work in a sense, or maybe not really transitioning? Were you always working from home before? Tell us a little bit about that.
No. So yeah, so I mean, I worked, you know, the 5 days a week, like a lot of people did in the office. I live in a place where traffic is insane. So 2 hours a day, you know, commuting on top of a long work day. And it was hard. It's hard to, you know, kind of balance all that. So working from home has been a little bit of a blessing because you get 2 hours back, which actually has helped me have some more me time. Like I can work out now and, you know, make better dinners and things like that. But as we're transitioning back, you know, as the world's opening up a little bit, it's again, trying to find that right balance of like, you know, picking and choosing like the days you eat a little quicker or she can help with food or, you know, just trying to be gentle with ourselves because I definitely have felt like the pressure of still keeping up the super mom, you know, aspect.
How does that work?
Right? We don't need that extra pressure on ourselves. There's enough pressure from every other area of life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, tell us a little bit about what you do in your profession. Because, I mean, even though we've talked countless times, I don't really know what you do. It's a great title, though.
I'm a trademark specialist. So I, you know, work with companies to protect their trademarks. And, you know, so I work in the legal department and it's a busy job, you know,
And how did that come about, or how did you go about getting to that?
It was a journey. I was a preschool teacher way back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. So
oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
I'm a potty training expert. If anyone needs advice on potty training, but I was a preschool teacher for like 10 years. And when my daughter was born, I was kind of a stay-at-home mom. And when I became a single parent, it was like, oh no, I need to find a career that can support us. And unfortunately, teaching should be a career that can support a household.
Right.
But it's not necessarily, especially preschool teaching. And so I went back to school and I, you know, experimented with classes and really fell in love with legal classes. It was that or accounting, and numbers and me are not friends. So went that path. And, you know, I worked really hard with a toddler, went to school, evening classes.
Really?
Come to class with me. My professors loved her.
Wow.
And got my degree that way in legal, and then sort of just kind of bounced around, you know, started a law firm, which I knew I didn't want to stay in law firm. I really wanted to go corporate, and kind of fell into a generalist role, and then kind of honed in on my specialty now. But it's been it was like a 12-year journey to get.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Man, wow. I did not know that. Didn't know that at all, Kristen. And with what you're doing now, I know that one of the things, you know, at your current employer is, you know, support for parents. And so what's been your involvement in that?
Yeah, so I think it's important that parents have support in the workplace. And I think it's something that kind of goes unnoticed because it's just, obviously it's part of life. You have kids or you don't have kids, but it's just part of our daily lives and our personal lives. And I feel like when I first entered the workforce, and I know people can probably attest to this, like maybe even before I entered the workforce, you really had to keep work and then personal life separate.
Right.
And I think what COVID really taught us is it's not separate. It's all one and the same. Like if home life is struggling, I'm going to struggle at work too, you know, like it's one and the same. And you can't have that compartmentalized dividing, especially if you're, a single parent or parents of young kids or a new mom or a new dad, like it's part of who you are, And so it's, why do you have to hide that? And I think I always struggled with that because as a single parent, I'm the only person, in my daughter's life who can be there, who can pick her up by the time the daycare's closed. The person who can be there if she's sad or struggling or having, middle school bullying situations. Like, I'm her person. And so really just making sure parents feel that support in the workforce. And, and I feel like ERGs are a great way to at least have parents rally around each other. And there's a lot of great intersectionality with ERGs. Like, we're parents, but we're also women, and we're, or we could be dads, or, we can be Black or Latino, or like, there's just so much intersectionality with ERGs that like parents really are kind of like an underlying, base, right? And then we have the other cultures and identities on top of that. And and it really, there's a lot of work to be done, I think, in workplaces to really recognize, parents and like the unique struggles, especially with demanding jobs and virtual worlds. And
now, what would you say is something that stands out for you most in terms of, wow, if I didn't have my parent ERG?
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, it's the wonderful people I've met. So I moved to a new location a few years ago, and I didn't know anybody on the ground. Being a single parent, it's like, I don't have a village anymore. I don't have my support group anymore. Like, how do I find it? And that's actually how I ended up finding the parent ERG at my current employer, because it was like, I just need to find my people. But it is hard having older kid, because a lot of the people in parent ERGs have younger kids. But I stuck with it with my preschool teaching background. I basically skipped spice, bottle feeding and, sleeping and potty training. And then I stuck with it, but I was very loud about, we need to, like, there are other parents here with teenagers, tweens, older kids who probably aren't coming to the community because it's all about bottle feeding, maternity leave, that kind of stuff. And so it's really like, we need to expand the scope of this. So I, pushed for a good 6 months, 9 months to be like, we need to expand the scope. We need to expand the scope. And then it started finally happening, which was just amazing to see. And I have met so many people now with high schoolers, and it's like, oh, finally I have my people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, for anyone who is just joining in, we're talking about parents in the workplace. Would you say that's what we're talking about? Parents in the workplace. And I used to be one of those parents in the workplace. It's different now as an entrepreneur, but I definitely remember the corporate experience and what that was like. And as I, talk with, and work with a number of women who are in corporations, they often will have, a women's ERG, but not a parent ERG. And so if your, employer has a parent ERG, I'd love to have you comment, ERG, because that would be great to know if that's you. Now, I want to transition to something a little bit different. I hope this isn't too personal, Kristen. You identify as a single mom, and you've used that term a few times. I don't know. This might be too personal.
I'll let you know.
What are your expectations for transitioning as an empty nester?
I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it. I'm denying it and pushing it down. No, it's hard. Like, I mean, it's been me and my daughter for 16 years so far. I know time is limited. I do feel like this year and probably the next year, I'm going to go even like bigger, but like everything, we celebrate everything. Like Valentine's Day, we had a huge Galentine's party with her and her friends. Like, I literally bought everything from World Market that had hearts on it. And I'm like, we're having a party. So I feel like I'm appreciating these last moments. And granted, I still have like a year of milestones, like holidays and stuff with her in the house, but I still feel very like time is running out. And I don't like feeling she's like one of my best friends. And so I'm really sad that our relationship won't change, but how we connect will, right? And that kind of makes me sad. And I don't know what's gonna happen.
I thought about it because I was having a conversation with a former client, and she was also a single mom at the time, and we had met for coffee when her daughter had gone away for freshman year. And I just recall her saying how she just didn't know what to do with herself. And I mean, I had a book, and ever since then, I've actually been gifting this book to all of my parents who have seniors. But it just really stood out for me. And at the time when I was having this meeting with her, my kids had not gone away to college yet. But when my oldest went away to college, it was hard. It was really hard. Even with having two more still at home, it was hard.
Well, I have my cats, so no. They're my babies. No, and so I think the struggle really is like, while we have such a close connection, it's making sure that doesn't get in the way of her flying free, right? And so I've been very conscious to be like, you know what, I'm the adult. And if I have these feelings, that's fine. That's normal. But I'm not going to, hinder her experience of flying out of the nest and being independent. She's fiercely independent and is okay telling me so. To get as far away, not from the house because she wants to get out of the house, but she just wants to experience life. And I do think that that's a great spirit to have, and encouraging her to, do that if she can. But also, like, I've never been a single person in my adult life. So, there's some excitement there. I'm young. And
there is. There's a lot of excitement there. And freedom.
Urban area. I can go out at night. I don't have to cook dinner. There are some positives.
There will be. But I think it's, very, heartening to hear you recognize, the challenge it will be, but at the same time, you're not going to hold her back. Because I've seen that as well, where what parents will do sometimes, and sometimes, maybe they're not even a single parent, but still, as it gets closer, they start changing that list up to get closer and closer to home.
My daughter's very clear. She doesn't want to get near home. So we haven't even looked at colleges near our house, even though they'd be easy to look at.
So So kudos to you,
she wants
Kristen.
to travel and experience the world, and you know what? More power to her. That's the time to do it.
Exactly.
So I wish I did that more. So I can support her in that adventure. That's fantastic.
That's awesome. So it's almost time. It's time for our rapid wisdom questions, and you got a lot of that. So here's the first rapid wisdom question. What's a book that's informed the way you see being a mom, or some resource?
Okay, so I'm not a big book reader, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this question.
That's okay, well, maybe it's a podcast.
Raising daughters. Some book about raising daughters when she was little, and it had like different age ranges, and so that was like helpful. I don't remember the actual name of it, and I read more for like pleasure versus like I don't know, work or self-help. But I think just seeing like role models in the world, like this woman is, fantastic. Or even if they're fictional characters, like just trying to like, I was so young when I had her that I feel like we kind of raised each other to some degree. And so I feel like even seeing role models like in fictional life of, TV shows or movies, being like, I really want to embody that like strong, woman, or the, the ideals of, how they're parenting or something like that. So I kind of picked and chose. But also I think my early childhood education background probably helped a lot too with like understanding like, okay, well, I need to parent for the future and I need to do X. And so really kind of thinking about her development, like past where we were really was helpful, and being very mindful. So
Yeah.
I'd say I was a very mindful parent from the start, but that was
Yeah.
probably unique to my education and field at the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, here's the second rapid wisdom question. In 3 words, the truth about work-life balance is what?
3 words. Sorry, I'm like trying to I'm obviously verbose here with my words. I mean, just even in one word, like tricky. Like,
Tricky.
it's
Okay.
it's
That's
tricky,
all you have to say about work-life
tricky
balance.
but
It's
manageable. How about that?
tricky but manageable. Can you explain?
I mean, I think again, you have to be mindful about it, right? It's really easy to get sucked into work and work and work and work, and kind of be like, oh, there'll be more time. There'll be more time. But again, as we're in the last year of our time, it's like, wait, there's no more time.
Yeah.
So really, like being mindful and prioritizing it and putting that work down when like your kid really needs something. I mean, I definitely made a few mistakes when I first, landed this role because it was doing work while trying to support her from moving to a new state. And it was, I failed on both accounts. I failed at the task at hand, and I failed at, being a present parent. And it was a big lesson for me of like, it can be done, but you have to be mindful. And at all times.
Absolutely. The third rapid wisdom question is, if you could have a do-over as a mom, what would it be?
Sorry, this is not very rapid.
No, that's okay. It feels longer to you than it does to me.
Okay, that's good. I'm not a silence person.
I love the silence.
As a parent, maybe I would say between the ages of 5 and 9 for my daughter, I would be more mindful. I think that's kind of when I started entering the workforce and I was caught up in my own world. And I had a hard time. I had some challenging mental health things. I really struggled. And I probably wasn't the best example giver of how to be calm in situations when you were stressed and how to, it just felt like a very crunched time of a lot of pressure on my plate. And so just being able to take a step back and being more mindful in that space, because I think it informed a lot of her tween behavior. And then we had to kind of go back and course correct, which was hard, but manageable because, she's a very lovely 16-year-old now. But I put that weight on me, and it might not have even been me, I take on that burden of I could have probably done better in those few years.
Yeah. I feel like it's a mom thing to take that on,
Right.
Yeah.
But who knows,
Yeah. Well, you're doing an amazing job.
We all learn.
Yes,
grow
we
from
do.
our learnings.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you.
No, thank you for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a wonderful conversation. So thank you so very much, Kristen, for joining us today.
Very welcome. Have a great day.
Yes, you too. So thank you all so very much for joining. And again, if you have a high schooler, I invite you now to get our college prep toolkit. There's the link right there. All you have to do is type it in, and regardless of the grade, the toolkit has all of the resources that you need to keep calm in this journey, because it doesn't have to be about stress and all of that. There's a way to do it with grace and ease. So I look forward to seeing you next time on Keep Calm for Moms. Take care.